ADHD is just a superpower you haven't figured out how to use yet. Before my ADHD diagnosis, I simply perceived myself as experiencing extreme highs and major lows without understanding the underlying reasons. I never truly acknowledged the multitude of challenges I faced, probably because I felt lost and overwhelmed, not knowing where to even begin to address them. The mere thought of confronting these issues was so daunting in itself. Since receiving my diagnosis, navigating life hasn't been without its challenges, but it has become significantly easier as I've begun implementing strategies to better suit my needs. Previously, I lived conforming to neurotypical standards in a neurotypical world, masking aspects of myself that caused discomfort. For example, intensely focusing on tasks that interested me to effectively hide my struggles with attention and focus in other areas, mimicking social cues and behaviors to cover up any awkwardness I was feeling, or just keeping quiet so I didn't say anything that would embarrass myself. Avoiding tasks that I knew I'd fail at or not complete at all, but then overachieving or striving for perfection to compensate for my shortcomings in other areas. The list really just goes on and on and on. Now I have way more knowledge and I feel empowered to live authentically and embrace my best life that I decide on, not what society tells me I should be living. I had little to no knowledge about ADHD until a very close friend of mine, who is also an ADHDer, told me about her story and gently advised me to go get tested for it. At the time I was going through my second divorce, I was feeling so stuck and just couldn't find the drive to move forward. I was just band-aiding to get by. So I started by seeing a therapist who specialized in ADHD. She gave me some tools to help me to get to a place of liking myself again and actually doing things like anything again, getting outside, like any simple tasks around the house, and just learning to be kind to myself in order to work through the grief I was experiencing. I don't think I realized how many ADHD symptoms I actually was experiencing until I started to take note of some things. Difficulty with time management, disorganization, feeling overwhelmed, anxiety and depression, difficulty with money management, compulsive overeating or not eating at all, chronic lack of sleep, sensory overload. There were so many things that just kept ticking the boxes. I was diagnosed at the age of 33, and up until the last few years, like right before that, I was able to get through life because of the work I was doing and because how my life was structured, that it didn't really affect me too badly. But when everything changed and the pandemic happened and I was staying home and having to motivate myself, create my own work, create my own place to work, because there was no shows to perform in. I couldn't go out to a show on the strip or anything like that. So it was really difficult to adjust. And I think that's why getting my ADHD diagnosis was such a good thing at that time, even though it was a lot to be thrown at me. When I first found out I had ADHD, I experienced this feeling of like, oh, this makes sense now. Oh, that makes sense that I feel this way about this and I experience this type of thing. So I felt validated, and that my experiences in the past and present, when there was a reason for them and there was a way for me to adapt to be the best version of me and not just struggle through and accept the parts of me that I wasn't very happy about, let's say. After I found out I had ADHD, I did so much research. I went on YouTube, I got books, I reached out to any friends I knew that had it, and just wanted more and more information so that I was able to, as quickly as possible, fix the things I didn't like about myself. It became really overwhelming. There was so much information online. There wasn't a streamlined way of finding out the information I specifically wanted to know. There was no A to Z of symptoms and possible fixes. So that was really difficult. And obviously, not every fix or change or idea works for everyone. You know, whether you're male or female, and even from one woman with ADHD to another, we all experience it very differently. And a lot of us have managed to mask or even adapt over the years without even knowing, to make our lives easier. Without even having the diagnosis, we've just found ways to get by because we've had no choice. Some of the things I put into place since finding out about my ADHD are things like making the house, like my house, more accessible, easier to be in, to live in. Everything is more just easy. The way I have things arranged in my kitchen, in my bathroom, everything is done in a way that I don't have to search for things. I don't have to spend that extra time looking for things. Everything is in a place that makes sense to me. It may not make sense to everyone. It may not make sense to a neurotypical person, but to me, it makes my life so much easier. If I can't see something, or for instance, I have a cupboard in my bathroom, like a low cupboard under the sink, and that is where things go and never come back again because I just forget that specific cupboard exists. I have no idea why, because the one on the other side, I always look in it and always find things in it. I have lazy Susans in every cupboard so that I'm able to see everything that's in there rather than stacking and there being things at the back that I can't see. If I can't see it, it doesn't really exist in my world. So that's one thing I've had to add in. Everything is very organized. Everything is labeled, especially in my garage where I have all my work, all my magic, all my creative stuff, which, you know, what it's like when you want to create and you have an idea and you just want to go grab the things you need. Everything needs to be very easy and I need to just know where it is straight away. Otherwise, I'll lose that momentum. I'll lose that motivation. And as we know, getting that back is really difficult. So it took a long time to reorganize my entire house and life and find apps that work for me. And it took a lot of just trial and error. To-do lists, like sometimes I need to write things on a piece of paper. Sometimes I have it on my phone because I'm out and about. And each day is a little different depending on how I'm feeling, how I woke up that day, what I'm experiencing at the time, how busy I am with work, what my deadlines are, what my schedule is in general, like sleep schedule, things like that. So I've had to find ways and accept that every day is going to be different, which is probably a good thing because I think if every day was the same, I would get bored and lose interest and then having to start over again anyway. So I found that letting go a little bit and taking each day as it comes has helped me progress way quicker than fighting it and trying to stick to a schedule or a plan that doesn't fit my needs in that specific moment. I think my ADHD has affected my personal relationships a lot more than I ever knew. When you don't know something about yourself and you're trying to open up to someone and share a life with someone, it's really difficult because there's obviously something you're holding back, but you are completely unaware of it. You don't know what that part is. So that has been really difficult. Even sharing my feelings and emotions with a partner or a friend has been really difficult because I haven't been able to, in the past, even name those things, name those feelings, and finding ways to kind of connect the dots. I would always just say, I'm tired, I don't feel good, which alongside my ADHD, I also got my anxiety and depression diagnosis. I've also been experiencing chronic pain for about 5-6 years now. So it's a lot of things to process for someone that struggles with processing those things anyway, just on a normal day. I'm very open about my ADHD and how that affects my life. I'm single now, and whether it's dating apps or things like that, because I'd rather be open and upfront and overshare, if you like, than keep it inside and not share it with someone and they find out later down the line. To me, it doesn't make sense to do that, because why waste each other's time? I am a certain way and I like who I am. I love how my life has changed and where it is now. And if I'm going to let someone new into that life, they need to know what they're getting themselves into, and also be willing to get on board with how I need to process certain things. Same with them. I'm open to how anyone feels the need to share, whether that's at the end of the day and sitting down and having that discussion, or it's difficult because there's times where I can't just share how I feel in the moment because I don't know, I haven't processed that yet. So needing that patience from someone, but also knowing that I will come back and share how I feel when I'm ready, and having that safe space, I guess, to do so. So that's something that's really important for me going forward in friendships, relationships, a partnership, anything like that. That is more important than anything to me now. In my professional life, I don't know if my ADHD has really negatively affected me. I think if anything, it's really helped most of the time. I mean, I'm very motivated when there's a deadline, and especially when someone else has set the deadline, because I hate to disappoint people. I hate letting people down. So that has really driven me in my whole performing career, in my whole entertainment career. I think the only way it may have negatively impacted me is when there's been times interacting with certain people that there's only so much you can mask and pretend. And because of my work, that's what I do for a living. I pretend and I act and, play a part. So that only lasts for so long before it just drains you. So then you can't continue to mask in your real life off stage. And it becomes a little difficult when you're communicating with people in a professional setting, because you're really running out of steam to play that part, play the part of a neurotypical person, knowingly or unknowingly. So that's probably the only thing that I have to be aware of, and also be kind to other people who may be neurodivergent. I've had times when people have reached out to me that we've worked together, and the messages have been very cold and very to the point, which I don't mind. I don't mind directness, but when there's no warmth, it really is quite cutting to me, which is funny because I think sometimes I can be that way and I just get straight to the point because I don't want to waste someone's time. So that is something I have to keep reminding myself not to take personally. That's not something on me. That's just the way that they work and they do business, and that's okay. I think the people that have worked with me over the years have definitely experienced my anxiety and lack of confidence. Even though I go out on stage in front of hundreds, thousands of people, it takes a lot to get there. And that's why it's been great, because you have that rehearsal process. So you're out on stage again, again, and again. And then you add the costume, then you add the lighting and everything else. And you add the people at the end. So you go through those steps. You're building, building, building. You're not just thrown out on stage. So that's been really good. And I think people that I've worked with get to see that transformation from this this kind of little girl who is stressed and struggling to, but knowing that I have that determination. I'm just being really hard on myself. I don't think anyone's ever doubted that I will pull it off, whatever it is they need me to do. It just takes me that journey to get there. And it doesn't matter how much time there is, I'll do it within that time, but it's still a journey you have to go on in order to then give the best performance you can. Honestly, YouTube, social media has really helped me and supported me once I got diagnosed. The difficulty with ADHD is you don't have the biggest attention span sometimes, but then other times you'll dive right in and you'll watch something for 5 hours to learn about it. So I think that's the only thing I feel was lacking a little bit. I wish there was a book or some way of like looking up a thing that I wasn't dealing with very well, that I wanted help with, and being able to find, here's 3 ways to work on that. Have you tried this? That for me would be so valuable. And I've bought books by doctors who specialize in neurodivergency, who specialize in ADHD. I've read books by ADHDers, and I've never found quite what I've needed. But maybe that's there's a market for that, I think, because it's not just for ADHD people either. I feel like sometimes we do things because that's how we were taught, that's how we grew up. We were told to do things a certain way, but you don't have to do things the way you feel you should do them that make your life easier. It doesn't need to be hard. Life, I don't think, should be hard. And I think I've lived a life that's been more difficult than it's needed to be because I was trying to live it the way I was being told by the people around me. I think if you suspect you have ADHD, then just do some research on it, have a little look online, and then go see, if you want a diagnosis, then you need to go see a psychiatrist. A therapist can't professionally diagnose you. They can help you and assist you and give you tools, but you need to go to a psychiatrist to get a formal diagnosis, which is what I did. And you go through a bunch of questions, and it's like when they ask you, do you experience X? And you say, 1 through 5, 5 yes all the time and 1 very rarely. So it's scaled kind of in that way, depending on who you go to and where you are and where you get tested. So it was very obvious to me the more questions I was asked, and it was like 5, 5, 5, 3, 5. So I knew halfway through that I was going to get a diagnosis, but it was good to know and then figure out what was going to benefit me the most. I was actually prescribed with Wellbutrin, which is an antidepressant, which I was really against taking. I've been on an antidepressant in the past, and it wasn't for me. I felt really zoned out, very like zombie-ish, and I really didn't want to try it. But I did it for a couple of weeks because I was experiencing so many things. With the ADHD diagnosis, anxiety, depression, all this stuff was changing in my life. So I thought I would give it a go because this was the thing that was people were normally put on first to try. And I think I got 1, maybe 2 weeks in, and I threw them down the toilet and was like, I don't want an antidepressant. I said I didn't want an antidepressant, and having to put my foot down on that because I just didn't feel like myself. I needed that more than anything. I needed to feel like myself again because I had no idea at the time. I didn't know who I was. I was going through my divorce, finding out all these new things about myself. So I had nothing to hold on to that I knew was me. So it was a journey. I really had to hit the reset button and step back and be like, okay, what are the things I love? What are the things that I want to do every day? What do I want my life to look like from the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I go to bed? And it was a great, although difficult, way of resetting because I was starting from scratch completely, even though at the time it was really difficult and I didn't know how to really handle everything that was going on. Looking back, it happened at the best moment possible. Nothing was thrown at me that I didn't and couldn't handle. I really believe that. I believe that when things come into your life, the not so good things, that you're only thrown those things because you can handle it. And I did. I dealt with my divorce. I then got my diagnosis, started working on that, threw myself into buying my first house and renovating it. And I definitely hyper-focused on the renovation of my home. I renovated the whole house in like 3 weeks. Half of it I'd never done before. I'd never really painted a house. I'd never put in flooring and things like that. But there was nothing stopping me, which is one of the things I do love. I do love that I have that drive, and I guess you could call it blind confidence, I guess, to think I can do anything, which is so funny because I feel like there are times when I think about doing things I've done in the past and I go, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that now. For me, I'm either at one end of the spectrum or the other, depending on the day. Same with procrastination and hyperfocus, or being super early for something, being like half an hour early and just working in my car, or being 5 minutes late. It's so all over the map depending on the day and depending how I'm feeling, wanting to go out and be social and meet people and want to be around people and not wanting to feel alone, but then having moments where I need to have time alone to process my thoughts, feelings, etc., and just be in my home where I feel safe and it's me and my dogs. I'm trying to learn to be really kind to myself and to roll with it and know that it's okay to just take each day as it comes. I've also realized it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for advice. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you any less of a person, any less of a, for me, woman. By reaching out to friends and asking for tips or advice, I've then been able to make my life so much easier. It's crazy how one app can change your life. One tip can just change everything, change your perspective. I think that's what it is. Like, as soon as you can look at things ever so slightly differently, that can change things so much that it makes that one thing make sense. It makes the, what do you call it? Like, it's like the penny dropped. You just, oh, this is it. This is the thing I couldn't figure out. And that's probably my biggest struggle, is making things make sense in my own mind and not just how someone says something to me and just accepting it. Like, I've definitely experienced that in work where someone's told me something and I think about it and say it back to them in a way that makes sense to me to clarify and be like, okay, like this, da, 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 da. And that's something I do all the time because I need to do it in order to hold on to that information, because I am a in one ear and out the other type person. So I have my ways, but that's another thing, in one ear out the other, but then I can retain so much as well. I'm in 2 different Vegas shows and then I perform at a third venue, and I can remember all those different things even when there's big gaps of time in between. So like I said, it's one end of the spectrum or the other, but you just need to be kind to yourself about it and realize that you don't need fixing. But if there are things that are negatively impacting your life, why not find ways to make it easier for you? Why not? I want to live an easy life so that when hard things come along, I have the energy and the drive to deal with those things. I want to enjoy my life with my dogs. I want to, I'm not happy every day. I'm happy a lot more than I used to be. But when I'm having a bad day, having a sad day, at least I have the energy to deal with that. I'm not, just hanging on by a thread at all times. If you think someone, whether they be a partner, a friend, family member, if you think they might have ADHD, it's a difficult subject to broach because you want to be very gentle about it, depending on who the person is. For me, when my friend suggested that I might have it and to go get tested for it, I was so grateful. I was like, I just want to know. I just want to know so I can fix this, this, and this. But you've got to be really gentle about it because you don't know what their response is going to be, because it is a lot to take in. And are you saying that because you want them to lead a better life, a more fulfilled life, an easier life, or are you doing it because of how it's impacting you? That is a tough way to come at it, because if the benefit is just for you, then you've got to be very kind and gentle with that person, I think, and not come at it as a bad thing or as a you need to be fixed type thing. That's not what it is. It's just our minds just work a little differently to yours. I think it depends person to person how you would deal with that. For me, I just wanted to know, and I trusted that my friend who also had it, so she could be somewhat direct with me and knew I wouldn't get upset about it. In the end, if you're not a doctor, if you're not a licensed therapist or psychiatrist, then maybe just sending some information to that person so that they can look into it on their own time, their own schedule, and not feel forced into this thing. Like, we all like to hit the old WebMD, and it's always, you've got something majorly wrong with you, and there's a reason why you shouldn't self-diagnose. If you felt any connection to anything I've said today about my ADHD journey up until now, then please leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe. There's going to be so much more content on this because I'm very interested in what knowledge isn't out there for people with ADHD, because I know there's a lacking. And if there's a way for me to fill that gap, then I would love to do that. I think knowledge is power in every area of someone's life. If I can share my knowledge and specific things I've done. So here's some examples of things I've inputted into my life on a daily basis to make my life easier. 1, because my ADHD is also mixed in with a lovely dose of anxiety and depression and a schedule that is ever changing, I don't set an alarm in the morning unless I absolutely have to. Or I set an alarm that's way past the time I'm probably going to wake up, like at noon, so that I'm able to get the rest I need. I found that I was pushing through, I've got to get up at this time and I've got to do this. And I ended up getting the same amount of things done. But because I was getting up so early, I was just dragging my heels and taking so long to get started rather than feeling well rested. I understand that is not something that everyone can do, but I feel like even if you can do that on your day off and you can get that rest you need, then I think it's so worth it. Also, I do prep things the night before. I do have a lot of energy at night, especially because I perform late at night. So I'm eating dinner later. So when I get home, I've got all this adrenaline and nowhere to put it. So I will get out the dog plates and their medication for the next day and prep all that. I will get out my gym clothes for the next day. I might write a to-do list or some kind of plan for the next day if I think that's going to help me, or at least take a look at the next day and try and plan out or back plan my day. If I know I have to be at the theater at a certain time, which means I need to leave at a certain time, get ready at a certain time, and if I want to fit into my day, working out, walking the dogs, if I have some kind of physical therapy or something else going on, just figuring that out if I haven't already done so. I keep my vitamins and supplements and any medication that I take next to my bed so that I can take whatever I need to right before bed. It's right there. Same for when I wake up in the morning. It's right there waiting for me. I have these big bottles of water everywhere. I have like 3 or 4 of them. I have this one right here as well. I never drink enough water, especially in Vegas. It's so dry here. So I keep one next to my bed. I have one in my office. Usually there's one downstairs in the fridge at all times so that when one's done, I can kind of pass them around and keep refilling them. One will always leave the house with me. I've gotten into that habit because it is so hot here in Vegas and I'm definitely not remembering to drink enough water. So I figure if I always have it with me, then at least I will drink a little more. The one I have in my bedroom at night fits in between the pillows in my bed. So I don't have an excuse. Like rolling over to get the water off my side cabinet is not an excuse because the water's right there. I can literally pop it and drink it while I'm laying there. I also have a box, like a pop-up storage box in the bathroom so that if I haven't picked out specific gym clothes for the next day or for that morning, or something's changed and I don't feel like wearing what I picked out, or I want to wear sweats rather than leggings, then I have a little, I call it a ditch bin because that's what we call it in theater, but in there are always gym socks, like the low ones and high top ones, couple of different types of gym top, like bra top, sports bra, a cover up of that, and sweatpants, shorts, or leggings, depending on how I feel. I try to get out what I want to wear the night before so I don't have to make that decision in the morning when I'm feeling kind of tired and not in my most motivated mode. But I have it there because no matter what, I'm always going to get up and go pee every morning. Like that's not going to change. So if it's right there, it's kind of like task stacking, I guess, because the things are right there. I found that task stacking in any area of my life that I can is so beneficial. For example, if I need to put laundry away, I have 2 laundry baskets. One is all my stuff that gets folded or goes into drawers, and my other one is for things that get hung up. And whenever it comes out the dryer, I will pair my socks as I go, although I have all white gym socks. And then my mum actually bought me, unknowingly, how handy this would be for me, mismatched socks. So none of them match. So it's really easy to put them together because I just grab two, it doesn't matter. Usually I go and put that kind of stuff away straight away, but the stuff that has to be hung up, I really don't like doing. I always put it off. So I'll put it in the closet. Either when a friend calls me for a chat, then I'll put my AirPods in, go into my closet, and I'll hang clothes up while they talk to me, or I'll use that time. Okay, I really want to watch this Netflix show or listen to a podcast, whatever I want to do. I will use that time to hang my laundry because it makes me forget about the really boring task I'm having to do. I also, when I take my clothes out of the closet, I will take my hangers and I hang them in the separate little area so that when I'm sat down to hang up my clean laundry, everything is right there. I can just take off a bunch of hangers, hang everything up, and then put it away. So anything to kind of make the steps less dramatic and less overwhelming. And I know for anyone who's watching this who doesn't experience that type of thing, it must be kind of hard to understand. But for me, it just was one of the things that I struggled with. I go downstairs in the morning and feed my dogs. It's one of the first few things I do in the morning. So I have a little box in the fridge it's like a clear box. It has their dog food that I'm using at the time, one of my dog's medications that has to stay in the fridge, a spoon, and their supplement they have, it's like a fish oil. So I take out the whole box out of the fridge because it has to be kept in the fridge. And I make everything and I put that one box back. So I'm not dragging out 4 or 5 different things and having to then struggle to put it back. So it's one thing. Same on the counter. I have dog bowls, the next dog food I'll need to use, and then the other pills for my dog. So it's right there on the counter and it's right by the cutlery. So that's really easy as well. If I'm drinking coffee, which I don't drink it as much as I used to, but when I did, I would prep that the night before. I used to have a Keurig with the refillable pods. So I would do that the night before, cup of water, all that, everything I would do the night before. So it made the morning a lot easier because the mornings were what I was struggling with the most. I also have some things that I either use around the house or I use for myself that have helped. For example, where I get ready, I have this area in my closet so I can sit down with my dogs and we can cuddle while I get ready for shows. All my makeup is organized in the order that I use it. Obviously, sometimes I use different colors and things like that, but it's very much step by step. So I'm not searching for stuff. I'm not going, oh, where's this thing? Because I can put something down right in front of me and then it's just gone. I don't know where it is. It's like when you walk around with your phone in your hand and you're like, where's my phone? Or you're on the phone. That's a fun one. So making things kind of like a conveyor belt. You go along to each different station. It's kind of like that. And I try to do that with a lot of aspects of my life because for me, that makes it so much easier. Also, next to me where I get ready is my work backpack. It has a travel bag of stuff in there that I will always need, like deodorant, hairspray, dry shampoo, some little grips and things like that I'll always need. And that always stays in there. So it's like my extras. And then I will pack a little makeup bag for each time when I go to a show. So that's dependent on what show I'm doing and what I need, but it's all laid out next to me so I can pack it as I go. I also have these plugs that connect to my Alexa. I can just say, hey, Alexa, turn on the garage lights. And that will turn on the garage lights. It will turn on the treadmill in the garage. So I can just walk straight in. I actually have a desk in there with my treadmill underneath so I can work. Another way to task stack, which I really, really love because it makes that time just fly by. I can't really run because of my hip, but I power walk every day. But I get really bored, I get distracted, I get off and go wander and do other things. So having that time to edit or work or do whatever I want to do, it's really good because it makes the time go quicker. I'm working out, I'm doing something good for my body, plus I'm keeping my mind busy, which is really great. So that's something that was such a good investment, that the desk that goes up and down and the treadmill underneath, really not that expensive. I also have those plugs in my office so that I can come into my office, or right before I come in, I just go, Alexa, turn on my office. And it turns on all the lights I have set up here. My laptop's already charging. That's already connected to a different one that doesn't get touched, but it will turn on the camera, the lights, the colors behind me. So I just tell Alexa to turn on my office, and I'm ready to go, because I knew I wouldn't sit down and make this content and film if I had to plug all these different things in and do all this different stuff. It was going to be too much. Adding those little plugs has just completely changed my life and like streamlined everything. I also have one for my curling iron, which also turns on like my makeup lights and stuff like that. So I can tell Alexa to turn on, I call it specifically my curling iron, just so that I remember that. So what's great about that is there's been times when I've left the house and not remembered if I've turned my curling iron off, because my brain has been thinking about so many other things, and then I've had to drive back, and usually I've turned it off, but you never know, and I was worried about that. So now I can tell her to turn it off, or I can just go on my phone, go on my Alexa app and turn it off no matter where I am, which is so amazing. That's really been a game changer for me. I also keep some whiteboards in my kitchen drawer. I don't always use them. Sometimes I prefer paper and a pen, so I keep papers and markers in there as well. Sometimes I prefer notes on my phone for a to-do list. But the only thing with that is I get distracted because there's so many other things on my phone. So sometimes it's nice to just have it in front of you. You can wipe it off or mark it off. So things like that have been really handy. Also, using timers for things. When I think a task is going to take me a really long time, I won't do it. I will avoid it so much. But in the end, it only takes me, it might only take me 5-10 minutes. Then it's like, why did I go through this whole emotional journey about not doing this thing, and then feeling bad about not doing it and feeling lazy and all this? So having a timer has really helped. So it's kind of like a game, which seems so silly for a 35-year-old woman, but it really helped me get stuff done. Same as if I have someone coming over to the house and I know, let's say they're going to be here in 30 minutes. It is crazy the amount of stuff you can get done in 30 minutes when you know someone's coming over, whether that's cleaning up your house or putting things away or just prepping things before they come. Because I have dogs, I always worry about, they're such clean dogs, but I always worry about them smelling in the house. So I always make sure I spray some stuff and turn on some candles so the house smells nice. They're very clean. They actually just had a bath. They're lovely. But it's just when you live in a house with animals, it's kind of hard to tell. I also, going back to my closet, have my closet organized not only by color, but also by style of what the thing is. So I'll have all my hoodies and or like cardigan type things and sweaters in one area, but they're also color coordinated, but also by like the length. So like crop sweaters, then long sweaters. Same with t-shirts, whether they're like little strappy ones, long sleeved, short sleeved, and by color. Same with my shoes. It goes like sneakers and casual shoes, wedges, heels, and also, white sneakers, gray sneakers, black sneakers, same with the wedges, heels, and how like fancy the heels are. If they're like formal heels, they'll obviously be way further along the line, or if they're more like a casual, like less formal heel, I guess. So it's just about making everything easier to find. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go, where's that thing? Where is that? I just want to be able to go in and get something and not get stressed out because I can't find this thing that I've put away in a safe place. That's always a fun one. Put it away in a safe place, never to be seen again. I'm sure there are so many other things, but my main thing is having a tiny bit of structure each day in order to be able to go with the flow in the other aspects of my life that I don't have that control over. For example, if I get called into work last minute and I have to just take my stuff in and just go, but at least if I have that structure in the morning or earlier on in the day, at least I've gotten through those things that I want to get through. I want to work out. I want to walk my dogs. I want to get outside. I want to clean up the house, whatever it is. It's just finding that balance and also realizing that sometimes you're not going to be able to handle everything. You're not going to be able to handle anything some days, and that's okay. I have messy days. I have a day where I'm just cuddling with my puppies and I stay in my pajamas all day, and that's okay. I think I've put so much pressure on myself in the past to be perfect, to do things perfectly, to have a spotless home, and it's not attainable. It's so hard to keep it up and keep going at that pace. Sometimes you just need to take a day and eat what you want to eat and do what you want to do and not feel guilty for it, which that is something that I really am working on, because I do feel the guilt. Oh, I should be doing this. I should be shooting. I should be editing. I should be working on myself. But no one does it 24 hours a day, and that's okay. I don't know why I feel as an ADHD, I feel I need to do all these things at once. I'm just so used to going at a million miles an hour that when you do the opposite, it feels like there's such a dramatic change, and it doesn't feel like the norm. And it needs to be. Taking a day needs to be. Like, people take weekends off. I don't have that. I work when there's work. That's just how my career goes along. That's how, especially since the pandemic, if someone gives you work, you go work. But now having to say to myself, okay, on whatever day it is, Sunday, or whatever day of the week it is, okay, this is your day off. It's okay to not answer the phone. It's okay to relax. It's okay to eat chocolate fudge ice cream and salt and pepper. I've got one here, actually. Cheeky. Okay, there's some other things that I love. I've jumped a bit. I love these, my hands are so pasty. I love these glamnetic nails. I don't like going and get my nails done in a salon. I don't mind getting a pedicure because I can fidget and do other things, be on my phone, I can work. But I really struggle to sit there for over an hour to get my nails done. It drives me up the wall. I get really fidgety. I don't feel comfortable. Sometimes people want to talk to you and I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to share my life, but I feel rude if I don't. So these have been a lifesaver. I've had these on for a week now. Amazing. I need a spray tan on my hands. But I really like these glamnetic ones. They fit really well. They're really easy to apply. I also do my own lashes. I use Blinkerfly eyelashes. They come in sections of 4 for each eye, and you get this glue and they go under your lashes. The fact that they're intact is a miracle because I sleep literally on my face at night. Things like that make it so much easier. I laminated my own eyebrows last week. I'm all about doing things myself if I can. I get my groceries delivered. There's another thing. Anything that makes life a little easier and gives me more time to do the things I really love and that I find are really important to me, I'm all about it. I also do my own spray tan. That's another one. I look so pasty right now. It was a few days ago. I do the Saint-Tropez Express one, and then I have a lotion for after you shower. I've been a bit lazy with it this week because I've not been doing shows. So I've just done a light, one a few days ago. But anything I can do at home, especially because I'm up so much later than the average person, it's nice because I can use that time. I'm not just waiting to go to sleep and just kind of literally wasting time because there's nothing for me to do because nothing's open, or it's just the way I have to do things for my schedule. One last thing, something I did starting this year was I went through my phone, and this was a long process. This was not a quick one, but I unsubscribed to any email I didn't want to receive, any junk, anything that wasn't serving me. I got rid of it. Unsubscribe every day. And it took me a few weeks because some companies send out things once a week, once a day, once a month, once every couple of months. But I kept with it because I was I don't want to be getting so much crap every day and having to just delete it. It's a waste of my time. I also went on my Instagram and unfollowed I unfollowed 7,000 and something accounts. I don't know that many people, that's for sure. So for me, it was about only having things that pop up on my feed that are healthy for my mind or my body, and not seeing anything that was upsetting or I just didn't need to see. I felt like I was following a few pages just to keep the peace. So I thought, screw it, it's my life, it's my social, I'll do what I want with it. So now I only follow pages that, I have some friends on there and I love seeing what they're doing, or, some dogs that I follow, that it's just happy content. And if I want to go looking for other stuff, I can, but I don't want to be forced to look at things each day that don't feel good and that are shocking, or someone's decided to post something that's involve some people from my past or things like that. And I don't want my day to be disrupted by that. I would rather in some way have a little bit of control over what I'm seeing each day. And it's made so much difference. Those few changes have helped me so much because I get frustrated at silly things I would see. I deserve the right to decide what I see on a daily basis. And that's why I only follow a few accounts. I have a few friends who we send funny memes to each other, but they're the only ones I look at. I have no problem talking to people online, but there needs to be a healthy boundary there. And if that boundary is overstepped, then I have to step away because I don't think that's fair. Like, just because I'm putting stuff out online about myself and about my life, personal and work, it doesn't mean someone gets the right to me or access me 24 hours a day to say whatever they want. You know, everyone can have their opinion, but I can also choose to not see it or accept it. So it was all about just creating a healthy place for me, I guess, on my phone. So that was more beneficial for the me that I was becoming and wanted to be. And honestly, a lot of my friends understood the reason I did it, and it wasn't a big deal. So yeah, definitely recommend. As we navigate through the hot mess moments of life, always remember that every stumble is a step forward and every challenge is an opportunity to grow. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below.